DSS and banking. You know that finance domain, right? More or less in the all side, okay, compliance and security is a primary concern. Now I came to you and asking, Venkat, could you please help me with transition to this cloud? Any cloud, preferably maybe you can go for Azure because most of my applications which is working in .NET and SQL databases. Probably I heard Azure is the best thing. Okay. Help me with that. And what is the migration plan? Okay,
Yes.
you have to help me with the migration path, especially on the security constraints part.
Yes. See, first we
Yeah.
need to understand the current state of the project, just like in the sense what the assessment, how the current infrastructure is being accessing, and the application architecture we need to understand. As it is a finance company, we need to understand what the on-premise environment is it, and including the two-tier environment where it has, and additionally I need to identify the critical workloads, compliances, requirements, just like PCIs or some and security measures which are already in place. So, and then I need to set the goals, just like we need to discuss on the goals for moving to Azure, just like scalabilities and cost optimization, the enhanced security, or leveraging the modern technologies. Some analytics we need to do, and then we with the Azure strategy, for the going with the Azure strategy and migration plan, we need to go with the assessment. First, we need to do the assessment, conduct a cloud readiness assessment to whether to evaluate all the workloads can be easily migrated, or any what we call any medium compatibility kind of thing, that we need to check with that. That we can go with Azure Migrate, or these things can access the on-prem environment. And then the design architecture, whether we are going with Azure VMs or any Azure app services which can be used, and the DB part, any we need to integrate with any Azure SQL DB or any managed SQL instances, we need to keep it. And apart from this, any Azure load balancers and application gateways for the high availabilities and performance issues. And coming to the security compliance, we need to implement Azure Security Center for the threat detection, as well as the Azure policy, by maintaining some key vaults and defenders for the proactive threat. And finally, we need to ensure that the compliance is as per the ISO standards, just like industry standards of ISO 27001 using the Azure migration. And the migration, we need to go with Azure Site Recovery and or the database migration service for both the seamless migration. And we need to plan it in a phased migration, just like start with non-critical workloads and testing it in a staging environment, and gradually move the critical workloads with minimal downtime. Post that, we need to monitor them and management. We need to set up a Azure monitor and log analytics for easily real-time, keeping the real-time monitoring, and establish the backup and disaster recovery using some Azure backup and site recovery options. And cost and trainings, whatever the costing which we can optimize using the right pricing model or reserved instances or the VMs, that we need to categorize using based on the cost analysis. And that's it. And we need to create a roadmap before migrating, before taking any step itself. We need to create a roadmap and we need to follow that map.
So in this one, I just want to understand, you just went through high level procedure on the assessment, discovery, on those 10. So coming back to the assessment and discovery, okay, how you will do that, and what are the major steps or the key activities you will perform during the assessment and discovery phase? Because as per my understanding, we work with the multiple migrations, because assessment and discovery is the Bible for the migration. See, if you miss anything here, and what kind of a risk you need to do that, what kind of a risk analysis we have to discuss with the customer, what kind of a outage, or maybe some of them which is not compatible, what is your plan, and how we need to go for that one. That is very important. So generally how you will do that, or maybe if you have done anything previous, you go with an example because I want to spend more time on assessment and discovery key activities. What you will do there?
Yes.
Post that, I'll move on the migration methodology, migration strategy. That is okay, because once you create the blueprint, later you'll follow only blueprint only.
Yes.
Okay, because this is a phase only it will take. Generally, how you will do that, how much time it will take, and what methodology you will use in the assessment and discovery phase.
Yes. First, we need to check for the stakeholder engagement, whether any vendor parties or any critical workloads and services which are involved in this, and discuss the compliance requirements, just like those things. And first, we need to define the project scope, including the workloads and applications to migrate. The main
So,
yeah.
before that, how you'll understand? Let's say I have 100 missions are there.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm coming
Out
to
of
that
100
question
missions
also.
are there.
Yeah, I'm coming
Okay,
to that.
go ahead.
See, using Azure Migrate or Map Toolkit or some third-party tools like CloudMS or some kind of applications are there to discover the on-prem services which are running and the applications and the DBs and the network configuration. There we can get a clear picture on the network on the on-prem itself, and we need to identify the interdependencies between each of them, the application as well as the infrastructure and the components, and then we need to check with the
maybe
Azure
I'll
compatible.
change my question.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll change my question a little bit different.
Yes.
See, this is all you are doing on the maybe third floor, not on the ground floor. Okay. So whatever you are telling, dependency, all those things, generally it will come on the third floor. The very much important on the ground floor you are missing it. Let's say I am there as a customer. Okay. The first phase is a request gather thing. Okay. You have to gather all the information about the applications. How many applications is there? What kind of a inventory? Because inventory plays a vital role. Let's say they have maybe multiple sites, correct? And how they are hosted, whether they are hosted in Hyper-V, they are hosted in VMware, where it is hosted, what kind of a configuration. Out of 100 missions, maybe some of them are legacy. All these things we need to get to know. So maybe I'll help you on that. The first thing is you need to understand request gather information with the customer to get the accurate inventory. Okay. Inventory is the one where you need to pick that very properly, and we need to make sure that when the customer or I am sharing the details with you, the first question from you need to ask is the accurate inventory, whether you are following all these things. Because let's say maybe they have missed one of the server or something which is using outside that data center or outside that one. They have some kind of a reports or something they are doing it. Later when you move that is not compatible here, it is going to be complete failure. So that's what the reason. The first step is you need to connect with the customer, or during the request and the information itself, you need to get the proper inventory, accurate inventory. Okay, let's think about that. I have given the accurate inventory for you in Excel. My all the missions are hosted in VMware. Okay, I gave to you. Next, you proceed with that. What you will do that? There are 100 missions out there, including all sites, all missions, Windows, Linux, everything. I gave that dump to you. It's accurate data as on 7th January. I given that file to you. Okay, it's your turn now. What you will do with that, and how you will start next phases.
Got it. If there are 100 machines and see, basically we need to go with the just understand what the application, just like you may give some 100 machines, that what the interdependencies or some DBs, whether it's there any on-prem configurations, and just like what the configurations of the existing environment which we need to capture. Yeah, those things. And then we need to go with the interdependencies between the applications and the infrastructure. Just like there may be some applications which are running with the support of DB. Those things we need to do that. And then the compatibility assessment, just like the cloud migration.
No, that's what my question is. Now I gave that inventory to you.
Yes.
How you will start that? How much time is required for you to come up with the blueprint? Now today I gave that complete dump for you. Okay.
Yes.
And maybe some of the information you asked about the business, how the people are using, what kind of a country they are using, what is the peak time. Those are all general information I already shared with you.
Yes.
Now I gave the inventory to you. So for next how many days I can connect with you and review the blueprint from you?
How many days in the sense? Actually, post I need some kickoff meetings just like with the stakeholders to discuss.
Right. See, that you can able to do in the back end. Okay.
Yes.
That is I'm not asking. See,
Yeah.
today is there, but generally there is a specific time is required. If you start with the assessment and discovery, whether you can able to use Azure Migrate or any analyze tool, minimum 14 days is required.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In order to get all your telling now, all your dependency, upward connection, downward connection, application dependency, compatibility, operating system, all this blah blah blah, everything you need to get means minimum 14 days is required.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
recommended is
For that only.
recommended is 30 days.
Srinivas, only for the kickoff meetings I need 1 to 2 days. That, and for the data collection, just like tools and those things, 3 to 5 days are required. And for the compatibility analysis, I need again 3 to 5 days. Likewise,
Okay.
and for the risk and cost analysis, it may take some 2 to 3 days. That's it. And security and compliance, I'll give for 4 days also. And for the
So overall 1 month is enough for you to come up with a plan.
no, I guess it will be some around 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3. Approximately, I'm giving 1 month. Okay.
Yeah, that is fine. Yeah.
Okay, now you consider there is 100 missions is there. You went with the assessment and discovery. Okay, you think like that. You have already done with all your preparation. Now 1 month over. Now explain me the blueprint for my 100 servers. What is your migration methodology? What kind of things is there, and how you will go for that?
Okay.
Next steps.
Yeah. Basically, you are saying 100 missions in Windows and Linux, right?
That I gave the inventory
Yes.
to you. I don't know. Maybe you can assume that there may be a 30% or 40% which is there in Windows. It's all yours now.
Yeah.
Think that you already got an Excel file from me, complete inventory.
That's right.
I already gave the business information to you.
Yeah.
Next, you explain me what you got it
That's
and how
right.
you will explain.
See,
Any random.
Yeah. In this, first we need to go with the current state assessment, just like what are the servers are there, what are the applications, just like any Android based of applications or API based of applications, and the database and storage document the data associated with it, and this application, and then the dependencies, map the connections to it, these dependencies and the performance metrics. And apart from this, in the migrations goals, we need to give the scalability, use the how the Azure infrastructure has to be vertical or horizontal scaling has to be done, and then implement the compliance and access controls and cost optimizations, and then the modernization comes into the picture, just like transition the workload to modern Azure services, and target the state design, just like if it is Android to virtual machines, the similar configurations has to be done using some lift and shift, and then the transaction of what we call the Android to Azure App Services, those things, and leverage the storage as well. The migration methodology is just like planning and preparation. First, we will finalize the inventory, confirm what the inventories are there, just like I had said, Android servers and their workloads and their applications, and identify the key dependencies, just like databases and APIs and external integrations, any external integrations, and then we need to go with what the migration tools we need to go ahead, whether it is Azure Migrate only for the server migration, and database migration only for the DMS or any database migration kind of thing, and site recoveries for any zero downtime. As you said, it's a financial sector. Zero downtime migration has to be in place, and then we need to create a migration plan in a phased manner.
Okay, maybe you can think that you have done all those things, everything you got it. What are the migration approach you are following it? Let's say there are 100 missions is there. Out of 100 missions, you are not following only single migration approach, right?
Yes.
There may be a different approach based on the thing. Think about that. What are the different migration approaches you are following in order to migrate these 100 servers to cloud? Whether all these 100 servers you are able to migrate it, or maybe very few we can able to migrate it, and what migration approach you are following it?
Okay. Here,
think through that. Maybe you assume something. Okay, think through that because you are there in the designing phase. You're sitting with the customer to understand the applications. You got all the details. Now the data is ready. Now customer is not asking you to migrate all 100 servers.
Yeah, got
There
it.
may be a challenges.
See,
You know that.
yeah,
Okay.
here we
And
need
there
to.
may be a risk is there.
Yeah.
So how you will, maybe if you want, you can take a minute or 2 minutes, prepare your plan and explain
Yeah,
how
sure.
you will move on that.
See, if it is lift and shift, just like migrating the service as it is to the Azure virtual machines without making application level changes, then we generally go with the legacy applications that cannot be modified here using for this lift and shift, and the quick migrations without any downtime, also with a minimum downtime, not without no downtime, with a minimum downtime we can go ahead. And for this I go with Azure Migrate and Azure Site Recovery for the replication. And for the replatforming, lift and optimize, I'll go with a minor modification kind of thing, just like Azure App Services or Azure SQL DBS. There, the applications can be benefit by minor services without requiring major refactoring. See, for this DMS will comes into picture, and but there are some.
Maybe slightly I'll disturb you here.
Yeah.
See, I'm just asking you to determine you define your migration approach, what you are doing. How many migration approaches, methodologies are there? Lift and shift is the one. Okay,
Yes.
rehost, replatform, refactor, resite.
Yes.
There are many things is there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
6 hours or 7 hours.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 7 hour course.
7 hours is
Yes.
there. Right. In this 100 missions, where and all these missions will fit? Just take an example.
See,
10
that's
missions are part of the lift and shift. 10 missions are part of the rehosting. 10 missions may be the retire because of the legacy and compatibility issue. We can't able to do that. It should retire. Okay. And some missions we have to go for a refactoring where we need to convert those things from microservices to monolithic to microservices.
Yes, high scalability, yeah.
So I want that one. You just explain me 6 hours here. Okay. What you will do and how you will go for that.
That's what I am explaining. We'll go with for any legacy applications or any quick migration with a minimum downtime. We'll go with a lift and shift, right? For any DB kind of thing.
Legacy, we can go for a lift and shift.
Yes.
Suppose
if it is compatible only.
It is not compatible. Let's think about that. You are using a legacy application, Windows Server 2003 or 2008. The application is running fine in this one, but when I want to migrate that, there is no Windows Server 2003 and 2008 images in the cloud.
Yes,
How
yes.
will you do that? You can't able to use the lift and shift here. What is your methodology? You do that. The legacy cannot be done. What is the alternatives you can propose to the business?
Replatforming here.
That is not supporting, right? Because it is supporting, application is supporting only on the 2008 and 2003 only.
Yeah.
The platform dependency is there.
Then.
Think about that. I am one of the finance application which is running in Windows 2003 or 2008 or Linux, Red Hat 4.5 or 5.
Yeah.
Very old.
Yeah.
Okay. The application will only run on that versions. So what is the alternatives for that? What you can do that? What are the options, open options?
Hybrid deployments.
Sorry?
And hybrid, maintain some workloads on-prem while migrating with Azure with low latencies,
Okay.
kind of thing. And
If the customer is agree, they can able to
yeah,
keep that. But
that's right.
again,
See, if
that is the one option I will consider.
Yeah.
Next,
and
I
then
don't want to keep anything.
then we
One
need
of
to
the
go with
customer will come.
SaaS as a service, software as a service, or PaaS as a
Mhm.
with Azure Logic Apps or Power BI, those
Where will you get that? You are talking about the marketplace?
yes,
Yeah, maybe if any application or something which is available readily as a SaaS based with the
Yeah,
cloud
that
marketplace,
yeah,
that is the second option.
yeah, that is the second option. And we need to categorize the workloads, critical applications as well as the non-critical, and end of life, just like you said, for the redundant missions. And then based on this categorization, just like see, let me take an example here. For the 60 servers, I'm go with the lift and shift, that is for file servers, those things. And for the
Okay.
20 servers, I'm going with replatforming, just like DB servers or web servers, and refactoring for the 10 servers, just like where are the scalable services or apps are there, using some microservices. And few of them, as I said, if customer agrees, retain on-prem only 10 servers, just like compliancy kind of thing, latency sensitive workloads. Yeah, and
Oh,
here
think about that. There are few missions are re-architect.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
So what you do here, you have your DevOps skills also plays vital role here.
yes, yes,
So now I'm covering both, okay, as infra and DevOps. Now think about there are 10 critical applications is there in my finance company. I want to re-architect. Consider these are all monolithic applications. I want to do the microservices. Before you do that, discuss with the customer as a prerequisite. So what are the things you require in order to plan for this particularly successful migration with a re-architect?
yeah. For this, actually, when reacting any 10 platform, first we need to what we call the prerequisites of refactoring, just like the business requirements and the goals, why and key questions. Those will be discussed anyhow with the stakeholders.
Those I think you already covered in the initial phase.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah. See,
You already got it.
after that,
Okay.
the application assessment has to be done, just like dependencies and the current stack, and then the
Okay.
infrastructure readiness. Then the does the current infrastructure supports the K8s, Kubernetes or Docker? Is there any existing CI/CD pipeline, or we need to set up it, and monitoring as well, observability and monitoring, and then the compliancy, security and compliance, where we can go ahead with the, we need to address the security concerns specific, and as it is a finance application, we need to go ahead with that, and the organizational readiness. We need to do the deployment which have expertise in Microsoft architecture, Docker or Kubernetes, that we need to decide it. And then coming to the data structures, data strategy, what is the current DB structured, how it is structured, and does it need any broken into smaller databases or any data consistency or transaction management. Those things we need to do, we need to study. And just like the other parts, just like risk and migration plan, how much downtime we need during the re-architecture, and compatibility issues between the microservices, what are the deliverables to prepare before migration, just like architecture blueprint, service boundaries, and data model, DevOps plan, and the monitoring plan.
I think I'm still not convinced with that.
Yeah.
So maybe any one place where you have done the re-architect with the Java or .NET platform, are you done? Because some of the steps are really not making convinced with the technical thing. Maybe you can take any small application or any application you done, how you done that application assessment, that is fine. After that, what kind of a consolidation, what kind of a tools you brought, and the deployment, how you done that, how you brought the automation. And very important thing is, I am adding one more pattern here, security. How you are adding additional security here. Okay.
Better example is that.
Hope you got my question. Sorry,
Yes,
right?
let me
Now,
give an example.
Discuss it only for a part.
Yeah, let me
please
give
go
an
ahead.
example. Actually, I am using a ASP.NET as well as MVC with an SQL server, a single tier application managing some records of billing kind of thing, and those things. The goal is to migrate to Azure and React it with using the microservices for the scalability. Actually, it's a healthcare kind of project. Here, the application will be assessed in just like what are the patients or billing kind of thing, and then appointment scheduling, and then the notification, SMS or emails, those. And we had used Azure Migrate to identify the dependencies, and .NET Monitor to analyze the performance metrics, billing, just like the billing and the patient details are equally managed in the DB or not. Those things we had mentioned. And in the database strategy, as it is a monolithic used as a single SQL server, with share tables. This in the Azure infrastructure itself, we had set it up just like AKS for the microservices, Azure SQL DB for easy service, keyword for the secret management, and API management to expose the API securely. Here we had used the lift and shift first, deployed the monolithic application to Azure App Services as a temporary solution to minimize the downtime while planning the architecture. We had incrementally done the microservices transaction, just extract the notification service, decouple SMS or email function test, and then using Azure Service Bus for communication between services, deployed as a containerized microservices on AKS. And we had splitted the appointment scheduling because it had came into it is for the scheduling logic into a separate microservice using Cosmos DBs, Azure Cosmos DBs to store the appointment store, and RESTful APIs through Azure API, and rebuilding for the billing module. We had reactivated into domain-driven microservices within our SQL DB, implemented the CQRS for managing the billing transactions, command query responsibilities, and the patient management, which we had done through event-driven architectures with Azure Event Grid to manage. Here majorly the challenges are like database coupling, we had faced the issue, and deployment complexity, managing multiple microservices and then dependencies, which has been gone with we had written the Helm charts to deploy the Azure services in AKS, and for using the CI/CD pipeline in the Azure DevOps as well, and the performance for decreasing the latency between the microservices. Those we had gone with Azure Redis as a cache. This cache has been implemented that. That's it. And coming to the monitoring, Azure Monitor and App Insights, we had kept it in place.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
So, what is the role of DevSecOps? Where and all you are applying security?
See, that's what.
On which, from code level to application level, application to implementation to monitoring and execution. On each phases there is a security, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
so
while in the early security integrations itself, we had shifted the security just by using static and dynamic application security, SAST and DAST during the coding phase itself. And
during the coding phase, anytime you have worked with any customer like secure coding practices, SAST?
Yes, SAST I had, but not much involved here because my security team comes into the picture here. Even the
okay, what about the DAST?
DAST, that is for the dynamic application security, right?
Correct.
They're also not much, but had some exposure, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. What about this one, infrastructure as a code? What all you are using it? What kind of a tools you are using it?
Yeah, I am using the
and
Terraform.
How good you are in experience? Yeah.
Yeah, I am using the
Sorry,
Terraform.
You are using a Terraform.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
in the Terraform,
with the Terraform, you are using it for all the cloud platforms.
Yes.
Like you are working on multiple cloud, right?
Yes.
AWS,
Yes.
Azure.
Yes.
All the places. Any Terraform specification you have done for any customer where it reduced a lot of work? Can you able to give me one example? The usage of Terraform in your any cloud journey?
Yes.
Especially migration, please.
Yes. See, actually, one of the customers, just like as I said, KPN, where for one account, specifically out of 8 accounts, only for one account, we had got just a command kind of thing from the customer to migrate the existing infra to Azure from the AWS. Just we had used the Terraform import just we had to use the Terraform import command, and in this Terraform import itself we had got all the infrastructure what is already in the AWS itself, and we had modified the variables in this variable.tf, and we had mentioned instead of AWS EC2s, and we had kept for Azure RM, those we had modified, and we had deployed one by one services in using the init plan, and then apply the using the TFVAS and main file. We had done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now coming to the
Yeah.
okay, but the thing is, when it comes for a container where you are using AKS, Kubernetes cluster, or EKS, anytime, how important in enabling the security services? Where on which layer you will enable that?
Yes. Layer in the sense your layer.
So far, yeah, because basically the container, right?
Yes.
When you are doing directly on the Docker or Kubernetes side,
Yes.
when you are managing that, most of them is self-healing and self-controls are there in the Kubernetes side.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say you want to apply most security in the, how you will apply in the VM level. Similarly, you need to apply in the container level. Example, Docker, you need to use that.
Yes. Yes.
What kind of explicit controls and for the security?
Yes.
Anytime you have done that?
Yes, I had done. See, for the
Maybe
production.
the wording is different, but I'm talking about
Yeah,
on the
got
security
it.
point of view.
For the Kubernetes cluster level itself, we had gone with API access controllers just to restrict the access to the Kubernetes API using some network policies and firewalls, and we had deployed RBAC, role-based access control, by defining granular roles for developers, DevOps, and admins, and using the queue audit also to identify legacy roles which are there, and secrets management and pod security is just like PSP's security policies, OPS and gateway policies or gatekeeper policies also we have kept. And ingress and egress controls just with the WAF gateway also, while deploy the Azure application gateway with WAF or AWS WAF to protect the ingress traffic, and encrypt encryption by transition, just like in the sense TLL for all internal and external configuration, service mesh configuration as well using Istio or some Linkerd. I had not used Linkerd, but I had studied that, and Istio had used that using the AWS app mesh for the traffic encryption, for easy observability, and in the application layer security we had given the input validations, just like ensure the secure coding practices are to prevent injection attacks, and runtime protections using sysdag or Falco.
And do you learn anything about the runtime security? Because most of the time, all application, everything it will be there in the production, everything is goes, okay.
Yeah.
But once in every time, we need to use some of the tools. Most of the time, it is a third-party tools. We can check the runtime security.
Yes.
Okay. How you will do that?
Yeah, for the runtime, that's what actually. What we call using the node security, just like Falco or Sysdag.
No. On that.
Yeah.
Have you ever used that Kubebench
Kubebench?
in Kubernetes side?
No, see, Kubebench I had not used
No.
it.
Fine, no problem. Because runtime security involves more into the Kubernetes side, and there are a lot of container level security need to be enabled, and we have to use some third-party tools which is there in the marketing, because it has been recently evolved a major role execution. Because most of the time when you are doing implementation, setting up, right,
Yeah.
you will do the foundation level security. When it comes to the runtime security, only when it get to know that when the application runs outside.
Yes. See, actually,
Right.
for the runtime, we are using the Falco and Sysdog as well. Sysdig.
Yeah. There is a lot of Falco, sync tools, there are so many
Yeah,
things
that's
are
what-
there
that's what.
where you can able to find out the real-time monitoring
Yes,
and
yes.
real-time application alerting, notifications
Yes.
mechanisms on
Yes.
that. Okay, fine.
But I had not heard about this
Apart-
Qbench. Let me go through that.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Maybe you have done that. Maybe I'm asking different wording.
Yes,
Company
yes.
to company, it is a different
Yeah,
wording.
that's what, based on the
That's the reason
company
I-
policies and
Yeah, that is the reason I
Yeah.
changed my way of asking. Okay,
yeah.
fine. I am done with my questions. Do you have any questions for me?
No,
Okay.
that's what actually. What is the architecture here, and how we have done, in the sense, what kind of application we are
See-
supporting here?
See, basically, you will be working as a consultant kind of a thing here. Okay.
Okay.
So when you need to work with the customer requirement, understand on that more into the infra, and especially we give more importance on the security point of view.
Okay.
And most of our customers are finance domain with banking and real-time people. So when you are doing and providing, they will always not come as this one. They will always treat as a customer consultants. We are the single point of focus for them. Okay. So in that case, when they come and ask for that, we should be in a position to understand their real-time problems, and we need to give a solutions based on the real time. Means basically there are a lot of things where we can able to just go and do that. It is not like that. Analysis, that is the reason I'm stressing more time on how you will do the assessment and discovery.
Yeah, got it.
See, once you give more time on that, understand on that, they will treat you as a this one. Maybe you can say that Rushley you can able to do for 10 days, 15 days. See, we will follow strict things on the assessment and discovery. Whether the customer come back or not, that is a secondary. When we give the blueprint, there should not be any second thought for that.
Got it.
Okay. We undergo on all the angles, all the dependencies, risk analysis, something like that. So we are looking for an Azure cloud architect where he should work as a infrastructure plus DevOps kind
Yeah.
and security. These are all the roles we are doing here. This is the market is always looking kind of a combinations.
Yes, yes.
So and this position is based out in Bangalore and Chennai only, and we have currently it is 3 days work to office. Okay.